welcome back to my channel. My name is Jodie, and in this video I'm just going to do like a run through of all of my weekly watches. So in the past week, yeah, I had a really good kind of week of watching movies. A lot of like movies that I actually rated quite highly, and yeah, I kind of stuck to my plan, which was to kind of watch titles from my collection. And then to watch kind of a couple of titles in my collection that have been kind of there for a little while that I haven't watched. So I think I achieved that. And yeah, there was a couple of rewatches in there as well, but they were just movies that I was really in the mood for and just movies that I love a lot. So yeah, without further ado, I'll just get on with it and just show you everything I watched in the past week. So the first one I watched this week, it is a movie that I had this in my collection for a couple of months, and I picked it up kind of really because I'm a big Glenn Close fan. I just think she's fantastic. So I've kind of been working my way through some of her movies, and I picked up this one called Reversal of Fortune. Now I think there could be like a nice fancy kind of Blu-ray release of this one on one of the labels. I'm not kind of sure who. But yeah, this DVD copy is absolutely perfect, and I think I just picked this one up secondhand from eBay. But yeah, this one was really interesting. So kind of just really quickly, it's based on a book, so it is a true story. It's based on a book by Alan Dershowitz, who is a lawyer, an American lawyer, and in the 80s he essentially got hired to work on an appeal in the courts for this character Klaus von Bülow, who was played by Jeremy Irons, and he basically has to do kind of, you know, represent him on an appeal where this character was yeah, he was found guilty of murdering his wife, and the wife is played by Glenn Close. And it was kind of one of these cases that was so like, it was sort of a trial by kind of public, and like literally everyone kind of who kind of read about it in the newspapers and everything just kind of assumed that he was guilty. So, you know, people kind of just thought that this lawyer was just insane to take on this case, and he kind of assembles a team of sort of law students as well to help him, and you can kind of tell as well they all think he's guilty. Again, wondering why did he kind of take on this case. But it was very fascinating to kind of see the actual, you know, the life of this character, the Klaus von Bülow character, and his wife, and you know, all of the things that sort of led up to this conviction. But I think the most interesting part was actually seeing Alan Dershowitz at work and seeing, I guess, how he sort of rationalizes being able to appeal, you know, for someone who is, you know, really thought to be, you know, guilty, and how he yeah, I guess just how he kind of contends with that, and the fact that everyone thinks that he is defending a murderer. And just seeing how it works, just seeing them kind of gathering evidence and kind of discussing the case and everything like that. I just find that so fascinating. If you're into sort of like kind of true crime, and just again just how that kind of legal system works, and kind of watching lawyers kind of do their thing, like I think if you're interested in that, I think this is a really fascinating movie to watch. The character of Alan Dershowitz is played by Ron Silver, who is actually just so fantastic. He's a very underrated actor, but he's so good in this. You'll probably know him if you've seen like The Entity. He plays the psychiatrist, and he's in another few movies that are great, and he is fantastic in this as well. So yeah, if you are interested in kind of legal thrillers, and this one has a little bit of a twist in that it's a little bit, I guess it's like these kind of very kind of classy sort of high, or you know, sort of very upper class kind of people that are being represented in this case. And yeah, the performances all around are fantastic. So yeah, if that sounds like your jam, I would definitely recommend Reversal of Fortune. It's a very interesting watch. So next I watched one of the Blu-rays that I just picked up in my recent HMV haul, and that one is Cutter's Way. So I had kind of said before that this is one that I had been wanting to watch for ages and ages. So I was delighted to finally pick this up. And yeah, no, this one did not disappoint. It was absolutely fantastic. It was definitely a different film than what I thought it was going to be. I definitely kind of pictured this one as being, you know, much more kind of action packed, and kind of more of like a crime kind of thriller. I guess it is a little bit of a crime thriller, but it's definitely more of a drama, I would say, or maybe like a maybe like a kind of a crime drama. Yeah, but it was absolutely fantastic. I would definitely, I would kind of describe it as, you know, a little bit of a kind of character study. Not the most, you know, action packed, but it's a movie where you just really get a window into the kind of characters that are being portrayed. And yeah, the performances in this again are just absolutely sensational. Like John Hurd is truly fantastic in this movie. Yeah, he is just absolutely incredible. And I think when you watch, you know, a lot of the kind of performances that we know John Hurt for, you know, kind of the more kind of mainstream performances like Home Alone and even like Beaches and all that kind of thing, like this is such a different role. And I guess I just never kind of, you know, realized how much kind of acting chops he really does have. Yeah, he was absolutely fantastic in this, and Jeff Bridges was great in it as well. And it's all set in kind of the early 80s. I think it's 1981. So yeah, just everyone is pretty like kind of fresh from, you know, the Vietnam War, and like obviously the people that were out there, but then the people at home who are dealing with the people coming back from the war are, of course, they're also affected as well. So we're kind of feeling yeah, we're feeling all the after effects of that as well. And so it's a very kind of raw time. And I just think that that is reflected really, really beautifully in the story. And yeah, I thought it was just a really interesting watch, really fascinating. Not exactly what I thought it was going to be, but I was really pleasantly surprised with this one. And yeah, definitely a movie I would recommend if kind of what I said does appeal to you. But yeah, just for the performances alone, I would definitely highly recommend this one, Cutter's Way. So my next watch was definitely a crime thriller. Like, it was a full-blown crime thriller, and yeah, it was absolutely fantastic. And it was this one, We Own the Night. Now this one has, I think I must have picked this up about a year ago or something like that. I think I might have got it in CEX maybe. But yeah, no, I hadn't, you know, I hadn't worked my way around to watching it just yet. But when I was going through my collection, I found it, and it was just like, I was just really in the mood for something like this. So this is, yeah, as I said, it's a crime thriller, and it centers around this family who are played by Joaquin Phoenix, Mark Wahlberg, and then their father is played by Robert Duvall, who is just one of my all-time favorites. So essentially, the Robert Duvall and Mark Wahlberg are cops in the movie, and the other son is played by Joaquin Phoenix, and he basically plays this kind of nightclub owner who has sort of hidden the fact that, you know, his brother and his father are cops, and basically just to kind of fit in. And you know, you can kind of see that there's a lot of kind of crime happening in the nightclub, and kind of drug dealing and gambling, and there's a lot of kind of unsavory activities. And of course, you know, he's trying to kind of keep it on the down low that he is related to these cops. And I kind of won't go into too much of what happens, but essentially he kind of finds that he has to kind of, I guess, make a decision between the kind of lifestyle that he's pursuing and then his family, basically. So it's a really, really fantastic watch. I don't think this movie is like kind of gets the praise that it deserves. It's not one I hear people talking about a lot, but yeah, it was a really, really interesting kind of crime movie set in New York with NYPD. And yeah, if that kind of sounds like your thing, I would definitely recommend this one. It was really good, and again, just fantastic performances by everyone. But yeah, Joaquin Phoenix in this is just fantastic. I mean, he is just brilliant in everything, but yeah, he was absolutely great in this one. So yeah, if you haven't seen this one, I'd say it's probably easy enough to pick up this if you're looking for a physical media copy. But yeah, We Own the Night, really, really good watch. And then the next movie that I watched just needs no introduction at all. It is a classic, The Departed. So yeah, when we watched We Own the Night, the husband really wanted to rewatch this one. And I had not seen this movie since it came out. And I think this, like, I bought this DVD just as the movie was released. And yeah, I have not watched it since, so it's been a really long time since I've seen it. But yeah, he was in the mood to watch it, so I was like, absolutely, because it's been so long. And oh my god, it is such a fantastic movie. Yeah, it's just so great, because the storyline, while it's sort of told very, you know, it's told very cleverly, it is actually just a very simple storyline, but it's just told so well. Of course the performances are just fantastic, and it has like a really cool soundtrack as well. So yeah, this is just an absolute classic. I'm really glad I revisited it, because I think it's because it's been so long. There's like a few things in it that I forgot about, but no, I really enjoyed this one. So I'm not sure if this is my favorite Scorsese. I was kind of trying to think like what is my favorite Scorsese movie, because I feel like everyone kind of has a different favorite. But I think the one that stands out probably for me the most is probably King of Comedy. Just for me, there's something about that movie that I just connect to so much. But yeah, I just love so many of his movies. I think Taxi Driver and Last Temptation of Christ are definitely up there as well. But yeah, he just has so many absolute classics. I'd love to know what is your favorite one. I know there's a couple that I have yet to see. I have not seen After Hours, and I have not seen The Irishman yet either. So I kind of need to get on those and kind of complete the filmography. But yeah, I was just so happy to revisit The Departed. I just enjoyed this so much on rewatch. So for the next watch, I have to give a massive shout out to Roy at Blu Roy Movies, because he covered this movie in his last kind of weekly watches movie or video. And yeah, it kind of spurred me on and reminded me that I also have this movie in my collection and that I haven't watched it yet. And the movie in question is Saturday Night Fever. So yeah, I literally, when Roy said it in his video that he was kind of holding off on watching it because he kind of thought it was going to be some kind of similar to Grease, and that was like the exact same reason why I had not watched this movie. So I kind of grew up watching Grease, and it was a movie that was on a lot in my home growing up. And just we always had it on video, then we had it on DVD, and it's just a movie that I kind of remember watching a lot. But kind of the more I've grown up, the more, I don't know, the more I've just sort of turned on it, soured on it a little bit. It's not a bad movie, and a lot of the songs are fun, but it's just, I don't know, I just think the kind of peppiness of it, I think, is just not what I'm looking for in a musical anymore. I think I like things that are just like a little bit darker. Like it's not, I don't think it's a bad film at all, but just yeah, it's just a little bit on the cheesy side now for me. But I kind of had thought that this was sort of like the same thing as Grease as well, because I always remember there was always Grease and Saturday Night Fever, and I thought they were kind of two very similar movies. But yeah, no, I couldn't have been more wrong. Yeah, I just decided to watch it because I was going to watch a movie anyway that day, and I just knew I had this on DVD, so I threw it on, and oh my god, this is absolutely fantastic. Yeah, I can't believe that I have not watched this my whole life, and especially the fact that I love the 70s so much, and I love 70s music and movies, and just I love the culture and the costumes and everything like that. So like the fact that I haven't watched it yet, I'm just kicking myself that I could have been enjoying this like my whole life. But yeah, no, this was just so fun. Like there was definitely a dark element kind of compared to Grease, and I just think the music is so cool. There was something very mesmerizing about the music as well, and it kind of had like a Rocky kind of vibe. I know that the character that John Travolta plays in this, he has like a Rocky poster in his room, and I kind of wonder, like, was that kind of an intentional thing? Because this movie, it just reminded me so much of Rocky. It was like a kind of disco Rocky. But yeah, I just enjoyed this so much. Yeah, the story was really fun. There was so many dark scenes in it. So yeah, I just really was not expecting to like this so much, but yeah, I scored this really high. I think I gave this an 8 out of 10. And I actually kind of feel like this could be one that maybe with another rewatch, I think it could go up in my in my rating. But yeah, no, Saturday Night Fever. Thank you so much to Roy for bringing this one up and for calming my fears about this movie, because I just enjoyed this one so much. So the next movie that I watched is a rewatch, and this is a movie that I just rewatch like all the time. It's a movie that I probably watched like maybe once a year for like the last probably 15 years or so. I just, as long as I can remember, I've just loved this movie. So yeah, and this one is The Saint, starring Val Kilmer and Elizabeth Shue. I know this is like, I know that objectively this is not meant to be the best movie ever, but I just think this is such a great movie. Yeah, this is just such a fun movie. So in this movie, Val Kilmer plays he's basically like a thief, and he kind of goes undercover in all these different espionage kind of situations. And in this one, he finds himself kind of involved with a plot by the Russians to steal the formula to cold fusion. And so kind of in doing this, he has to kind of get involved with the basically the scientist who is, you know, who is thought to have kind of found the formula to actually make cold fusion work. And the scientist is played by Elizabeth Shue, and they kind of I guess he has to kind of go undercover to kind of lure her a little bit, but then they kind of end up kind of working together in the movie. And yeah, I don't know, this is the height of entertainment for me. If you're interested in kind of spy thrillers, espionage thrillers, you know, crime movies, action, and if like you kind of like movies like that, but just with a bit of kind of quirkiness and a bit of comedy to them as well, I would highly recommend this movie. This movie just makes me laugh every single time I watched it. I kind of wanted to rewatch it because I had just realized like my husband has never seen this movie, and I just, the minute I realized that he hadn't seen it, I was like, okay, we have to watch it because you're gonna love it. And he did love it. He thought it was very, very funny as well, because kind of when Val Kilmer's character is going undercover, he kind of he takes on all these different appearances and everything like that, and all these different personalities, and he is such a fantastic actor to do that, because he is just he has such a good range. And yeah, he's just brilliant in this. I'm absolutely obsessed with Val Kilmer anyway. I think he's brilliant. And so there's like a load of different kind of characters that he takes on. So yeah, this movie is just so entertaining, and it's so much fun and hilarious as well. So if you're, you know, if it sounds like it's something that's gonna be up your street and you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. It is a little bit on the kind of corny, campy side. Like, it does not take itself seriously at all, but that's kind of nearly the best part of it, because it's just so entertaining. So yeah, a rewatch of The Saint, and I just loved it as much as I always do. So then next I watched another of my HMV kind of Blu-ray pickups, and yeah, this was just another great one. And this one is one that I actually hadn't even heard of before I saw it in the store. But it is this one with Kurt Russell called Unlawful Entry. So yeah, this was just fantastic. Like, this was so entertaining. And this one basically centers around this couple who basically they kind of find themselves in a situation where the house is broken into, and yeah, basically the wife is like nearly almost abducted and killed. And so they basically, when they kind of get the cops in, and you know, they kind of get all the security and everything installed, the cop that is sort of dealing with the case becomes a little bit kind of too involved. And the cop in question is played by Ray Liotta, and he's just fantastic in this. Yeah, and so kind of throughout the movie, we kind of see that this cop is not as kind of friendly as he kind of makes out. And yeah, he gets, you know, kind of very kind of sinister things kind of happen. Obviously don't want to kind of go into too much if you haven't seen it, but yeah, it's really fantastic. It's kind of like one of those sort of obsession kind of, you know, stalker kind of movies, but it's kind of an interesting concept in that it's like a cop, you know, rather than like a partner or something like that. So it's kind of like the single white female kind of thing, but yeah, with a cop. And it's really, yeah, really entertaining. There's some really just like crazy scenes in this, and just sort of some of the things that he does are just off the wall, and again, just really entertaining to watch. So I kind of love movies like this anyway. I love all, you know, kind of obsession kind of thriller movies. So this was just right up my street, and I can't believe I never heard of or seen this movie before, but yeah, I just enjoyed this so much. So if that is your kind of movie, definitely check out Unlawful Entry. Yeah, it's just highly entertaining, and I just enjoyed this one so much. So my next watch was one that I just showed in my recent CEX haul, and it is this Arrow release of Stormy Monday from the director Mike Figgis. So yeah, this movie was really interesting. It was actually not kind of not what I thought it was going to be at all. It had a totally kind of different story and different kind of atmosphere and everything than what I expected. But if you are into your like noirs, like your romantic kind of, you know, crime movies, this is going to be right up your street. So yeah, as I said, this is a noir movie. It is set in Newcastle in England, so a really interesting setting, and they just do a great job of making Newcastle feel really, really sleek and kind of cool or something like that. Not saying that Newcastle is not cool, but just the way they shoot the movie is just really, really interesting. There's just some really cool, you know, yeah, like again, just very traditionally noir kind of you know, scenes and shots, and it's really, it's a beautiful movie to look at. I think the, you know, the story is quite simple, but it's the atmosphere and the setting that kind of really make this, and the music in it is so cool. Like a lot of the scenes are set kind of in this sort of jazz club that's owned by the character that Sting plays, and so the music and everything like that is all sort of very jazz inspired, and yeah, it just again just it adds sort of to that very traditional kind of feel. It is very, very 80s, but somehow there's somehow just like a more kind of classic kind of feel to it. I don't really know how to describe it, but yeah, really gorgeous movie to look at. Yeah, the story didn't like kind of blow me away, but I think again the style and everything of this is really gorgeous, and yeah, just the kind of overall atmosphere and everything was very interesting. So I definitely would say if you are a Mike Figgis fan, it's definitely like, you know, something that you definitely have to check out. But yeah, and obviously as well, if you're, you know, familiar with Newcastle, it'd be really, really cool to see this one, because the city just looks really, really cool in this movie. I've actually never been before, unfortunately, but yeah, if you're familiar with it as well, I think you'll really enjoy this movie. So yeah, the Arrow release of Stormy Monday was the next watch. So I kind of really want to, I do want to kind of learn a little bit more about this movie and just the kind of the background to it and everything. So I definitely want to check out some of the special features on this one as well. But yeah, really, really interesting one. So the next title that I watched is it's another rewatch, and it's one that I have just rewatched like a stupid amount of times since I got the DVD. It is just such a rewatchable movie to me, and it's just one that I really enjoy. And it is this one, The Wife. So yeah, this is another Glenn Close movie, and this movie is just absolutely fantastic. So this one centres on the character of Joan Castleman, who's played by Glenn Close, and her husband Joe is basically being awarded the Nobel Prize for Literature, and for essentially kind of writing, you know, a lot of very, very successful and kind of very important novels. And this is not a spoiler or anything now, this is just genuinely the premise, but it's sort of established that you know, maybe he is not quite responsible for the books that he's winning the prize for, and that she is kind of the, you know, the mind kind of behind all of the novels. And really what this is like a study of kind of the individual characters, and especially the character played by Glenn Close, but also kind of the marriage that they're in, and it's a study of that kind of relationship and how the relationship kind of holds up, you know, against the weight of, you know, I guess the kind of resentment and, you know, the kind of secrecy and everything like that. This, yeah, the characters in this, they're just written so beautifully. Like I feel like in such a short space of time, I just feel like I understand these characters so much, and yeah, they're written and just acted so beautifully. And there's a lot of very, very kind of fantastic kind of scenes in terms of just dialogue, acting, and yeah, it's just a really, really fascinating watch, and it's one that I can just rewatch over and over again because I just love the performances so much, and I just love witnessing this relationship. And kind of all the ups and downs that they go through in like such a short space of time. It's only set like across, you know, a couple of days, but we kind of get such an insight into this relationship. So yeah, The Wife is just a movie that I absolutely adore. There's just so much to love about it, like the characters, dramatic scenes, the performances, and the music is fantastic in this as well. It's just such a beautifully simple score and to this movie as well. So yeah, one, as I said, that I've rewatched so many times, and one that I'm going to be just keeping kind of rewatching into the future. Yeah, absolutely love this movie, The Wife. And so yeah, we've reached my final watch of the week, and yeah, unfortunately I'm gonna just have to like kind of take the tone down a little bit because I've been really positive about everything I've watched so far. I've just had like a fantastic week of watching movies, but this one just like absolutely ruined the good streak. And this is a movie that my husband has been wanting me to watch for like the longest time, and he just absolutely loves it, and it's one that he's rewatched a lot over the years. And he kept telling me like, oh, you can watch this one, you'll really enjoy it, you'll really enjoy it. And then as we were watching it, he was kind of giving me the smile of like, I knew you would hate this movie. And I really just did not enjoy this movie. I just honestly found it one of the most boring movies I've watched this year so far. And it is this one, The 13th Warrior, with Antonio Banderas. I'm actually just sorry I ever picked up the DVD of this. He had just kept mentioning it to me that, oh, we have to watch this movie, we have to watch this movie. And then I just picked it up like the other day in the charity shop. I'll do like a little haul of what I got in the charity shop because I got like 10 DVDs for €1. So I was like, oh yeah, grand. And then I found this one and knew that he wanted to watch it. So I picked it up, and yeah, God, this was like the longest 93 minutes of my whole life. Like this genuinely felt like 900 minutes. So it's basically about this ambassador from, I think he's like in Baghdad or something like that. He's an Arab, and I think he gets exiled and for looking at the wrong woman or something like that, and he ends up in the north somehow. And for some reason he ends up just joining these like 12 other warriors who, and again, I don't understand how any of this actually happens, but they end up kind of fighting these like what they kind of think are these like mythological creatures, but they're actually just like kind of tribes people with like kind of bear skin. This was genuinely one of the most like excruciating things I've ever had to watch. And like if I am not entertained by a movie, like I get so fidgety and I just feel like I can't sit still, and I just can't focus. So I just felt like I felt every second of this movie, and I've never been so happy for like the credits to go by. I just really don't know what it was. I couldn't engage with the story. Every few minutes I was like, what the hell is going on? I didn't understand how they got from A to B, and like I felt really stupid watching this movie. But I don't know whether it's just me or whether it's just this movie, but I just could not connect to this at all. And I was kind of sold on the basis that Omar Sharif was in this as well, and yeah, he was literally in it for about 2 minutes at the start, and then he just wasn't in the rest of the movie. And then it was just literally Antonio Banderas and all of these like really kind of strange warrior kind of guys who were supposed to be like Norse, I thought, but like they had like Irish accents, and then they had like Scottish accents, and I was just so confused, and I don't understand like the history behind it because it's not a period of history that I get or that I'm very knowledgeable about. But yeah, no, just not my movie. It's gonna be staying in the collection because I'm going to I've kind of started to create a little bit of a collection for my husband because there's always movies that he wants to watch and he can never find them on streaming. So I'm kind of starting to collate a little bit of a collection of movies that he likes, and he loves all these kind of fantasy, kind of historical movies like that anyway. So if I ever kind of see any more movies like that, I'll pick them up and he can watch them on his own, because I just refuse to watch anything like this ever again. But yeah, it will be staying in the collection anyway. But yeah, if you like 13th Warrior, please leave a comment and just help me to understand what the crack is with this movie. Yeah, the 13th Warrior, just please help me and just, yeah, give me some feedback. And what did you think of this movie if you have seen it? So yeah, that was everything that I watched this week. So with the exception of the 13th Warrior, I really enjoyed everything that I watched, and I'm really happy again that I have watched some titles in my collection that were there for a little while that, you know, I really needed to see. And then of course I just enjoyed kind of some rewatches as well, as, you know, it's nice to kind of revisit movies that we love as well, instead of, you know, always kind of watching new movies as well. So yeah, pretty solid week of watches. I will have another few videos coming on soon. I have a very interesting January kind of pickups haul, and then, as I said, I'll have like a charity shop DVD haul as well coming really soon. So yeah, that was everything that I watched this week. And yeah, if you are still watching this video, thank you so much for tuning in, and just for watching. I truly appreciate every single view that I get on these little videos, and yeah, I just really appreciate the support, and I love the comments as well. So please do leave a comment or a suggestion or recommendation down below, and yeah, I definitely take all your recommendations into consideration and put them on my watch list. So yeah, please do keep the comments coming, and yeah, thank you so much for watching, and yeah, I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.